So guys, in this topic, we are going to look at the generation of wideband FM. Okay, narrowband FM generation is pretty simple, and since it's not that important, so we are not going to look into that. But wideband FM is one of the important part. But having said that, I will tell you each and everything in detail. But still, I want to highlight this that this is not that important topic. So suppose you are prioritizing your, in the month of December, your topics and which are important and not important. Then I would suggest to put more time on FM and how to find the bandwidth or the modulation index and like equation and everything, rather than putting a lot of effort in generation. But still, let's take it. So guys, we are going to study generation of wideband FM. Generation of wideband FM. Okay. So in this we have two methods. First method we call it as direct method. Direct method, and second method is indirect method. Okay, and it is also known as Armstrong method. Okay, this method is widely used. So, anyone in the session, how we can generate FM? I think I asked this question in the last session as well. How can we generate FM? Anyone? Yes, that's correct. Voltage controlled oscillator, VCO. So we can use, guys, VCO to generate wideband FM signal. So, but let's take one by one. So first we'll cover direct method. Okay. So guys, this method uses voltage to generate the frequency modulated wave. So it's a VCO from the analog integrated circuit. I'm going to use as it is. So I can give you a circuit diagram as well, but it is more from the analog integrated circuit. So first write this important point. In this method, it uses voltage controlled oscillator. In short, we call it as VCO. It uses voltage controlled oscillator. In short, we call it as VCO to vary the frequency linearly with the message signal. And in the last session, we already discussed that message signal variations are converted into frequency variation in FM. Right? Message signal variations are converted into frequency variation. So in this method, we actually use VCO to do the same job. Okay? So, what it actually does, VCO converts, and anyway it is being controlled by voltage as the name suggests. So, VCO converts voltage variations into frequency variation. So please write it down. Now, if you ask me that, do we really need to go into what does actually a VCO do and how does the circuit look like? So PLL or VCO, these circuits you must study in analog integrated circuits, and you will be studying in that. So here we are just using that block as an application, right? Similarly, phase lock loop in the demodulation of FM will be using as just a building block. Okay. So that is something that you can obviously look at in analog integrated circuits. Now, what is the advantage? So why do we use it? So first advantage is it can generate large frequency deviation. It can generate large frequency deviation. So what is the importance of large frequency deviation? If the frequency deviations are large, means you have such a good range, right? You are able to cover the complete range of bandwidth of FM, which is from 88 to 108 megahertz. So that is the advantage. But what is the disadvantage for this? That is, you should also know. The disadvantage with this is, guys, that frequency, carrier frequency start getting deviated, or it start getting drifted from the right FC. Okay. So frequency instability. The carrier frequency will keep moving from the fixed frequency, which we don't want. So that is the disadvantage. So right, carrier frequency, which is FC, tends to drift, thus leading into frequency instability. Okay. So these are the advantage and disadvantage. So guys, how GATE can use these questions in question? Chances are thin, but if they'll ask you like true or false, or which one of the following statement is incorrect, like that, or which one of the following is the correct statement. GATE has asked in past, long back, match the following, right? So this statement matches to what's other statement. So from column A to column B. But anyway, this is it. So now let's go into the block diagram. So simple block diagram is this. So you give empty message signal to a VCO and you get FM signal. This is the most, simplistic way of saying it, but 100% go into little details. Okay. So guys, how this voltage control oscillator you can design. So if I just try to break it up, so it is something like this. So you have a series of inductors, L1, L2. So I'm entering into little bit of analog integrated circuits, and then you have a capacitor C, and we have one more capacitor which is known as variable capacitor. Okay, and then you apply a voltage across this parallel circuit B. It says L1, L2 in series, a normal capacitor, and this is a variable capacitor. So guys, variable capacitor we can, with voltage control inductors and capacitor, but here we are using a, voltage control, we are controlling voltage by using a variable capacitor and not inductor to just correct you. So you will get the frequency 1/2 pi, and if I am right, root under L1 plus L2, because these two are in series, and you know that you add capacitors in parallel. So it's just opposite duality, L1 plus L2 and capacitor C plus, let's say, C dash. So that will be also getting added. Okay. So this is the formula you get. Okay. So please put in the box. Okay, guys. So this variable capacitor, you can, so actually, you know what? This is like a tuning. So, you might have seen in radio and all, you can vary the frequency by varying the capacitor's ka width. So if you are able to change the width of the capacitor, right? And I can show you quickly. So I was saying that how will you do it? So suppose you want to make a variable capacitor. So capacitor has a formula equal to this, C equal to, I guess, A epsilon by D, right? So if you change the distance between the plates, right, if you are able to vary that, okay, or the distance, or you can say width, so you can get the variable capacitor. This is just an intuition. I will not go into much details. That is not required even. So this is all about an idea of VCO. If somebody is interested that how the circuit looks like, okay, so you can please refer VCO in some textbook. I would say Cedra and Smith. Okay, please refer VCO in analog integrated circuit. Clear, guys? Any question? Now, guys, we'll move ahead. We'll use another approach or another method, indirect method. Okay, put the heading indirect method, or it is also known as Armstrong method. Armstrong method. Guys, why do we call it as indirect method? Because in the earlier method, we are able to generate frequency modulated signal directly. We are using a VCO and we are doing it. In this method, indirect method, first we will be generating a narrowband FM, and then we are going to apply a frequency multiplier. It's a block which converts narrowband FM into wideband FM. That's what we do in indirect method. So let's write that point. It is called indirect method. So I'm explaining this point, why it is called indirect method. Sometimes when you are trying to do masters, right, in signal processing, professors can ask you that why do we call indirect method as indirect? So that's the answer you can give. It is called indirect method because we are not generating wideband FM directly. Wideband FM directly. First, we develop narrowband FM and then it is transformed or it is converted into wideband FM. It is converted into wideband FM. Clear, guys? So if you look at the circuit diagram, so you will be seeing something like this. You have a massive signal M of t. You put this into a narrowband modulator, NBFM modulator. And you have a local oscillator from which you get the carrier CT. So you change the carrier signal as per the masses, and then the output is narrowband FM signal, NBFM, and obviously beta is less than 1 here because it's a narrowband FM. And then it goes into the block of, it is going into frequency multiplier. I know a lot of people are thinking, what is this frequency multiplier? So it's a n times multiplier. I will explain in detail what is a frequency multiplier. So we go give it to frequency multiplier, and then whatever the output you get, it becomes wide band FM, and beta is greater than 1. Please draw this. So what is going to happen? Suppose you get here, let's say cos theta. So here it will be what? Cos n times theta. That's why we call it as frequency multiplier, because your theta is getting multiplied by n theta. Okay. Now, other key point that we should know, that what are the advantage and disadvantage in this as well. So what is the advantage? Advantage is it has, which is the disadvantage in the earlier method. In the earlier method, carrier frequency was unstable, but here it is stable. So write advantage as more stable carrier frequency. More stable carrier frequency. What is the disadvantage? Hardware complexity. Hardware is complex and expensive or costly. So now you understand, guys, when I mentioned that for generation of wideband FM we use direct method widely. So it explains the whole funda. So everything has some plus or minus, some upside and some downside, but you all can see that this is good, but it has its own issues. And what are those? Hardware is so complex and bulky that it's difficult to do it, but at the same time it is also costly. So this is the reason we try to avoid this. Okay. Now let's understand what is a frequency multiplier. Now guys, put the heading. This is important. I'm putting a star. Frequency multiplier. Frequency multiplier. And we write in bracket n, means it can be of nth order. So write in this. Practically, a non-linear system is used as frequency multiplier. Right? If you want to go from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, you cannot go linearly, because it will be 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So it has to be a multiplication. And whenever you do multiplication, it is always non-linear. Even in signal system, you might have studied that if you have a signal, a combination of x1t into x2t, that cannot be linear. It is always non-linear. So, suppose you take a carrier signal cos 2 pi fct, okay, and you give to a block, right, which is a function of square, and that's why we call it as n equal to 2. And you put another cascade function of same. So whatever comes inside this, it will be squared. Same as square function, and this is n equal to again 2. What I'm saying, that if you do cos 2 pi fct, so what will happen here? So at this stage, what will happen? You will get, so let me write with same color marker. It will be cos square 2 pi fct, and you know the formula of cos square, it will become 1 plus, right, cos 4 pi fct by 2, because cos 2 theta is equal to 2 cos square theta minus 1. So cos square theta is 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. Using that, you are getting here. So what is happening? If you ignore the DC term, you will get, to write, if I write in ignoring the DC term, I can write cos 4 pi FCT, and similarly you will again get here cos 8 pi FCT. Now, if you see clearly, you sent FC here, you got here 2 FC, and the final output is 4 times the frequency. Yes or no, guys? So can I say that this block represents a frequency multiplication or multiplier of order 4? Yes or no? Come on, guys, let me know. Does this represent a frequency multiplier of order 4? Yes or no? So you can understand, you can go to n times, right? In the same manner, you can start with any frequency and you can go to wide band, right? So that is the way you take a narrowband FM from let's say a small frequency. Narrowband FM is what? Again, recall that point. Narrowband FM means that it has a narrow band of frequency, narrow range of frequency. You want to increase that range, you can use this. Look at that. Okay? So, if I go into the equation of frequency modulation, so I can say that first pointer, right? Assume, so I'm going to do this to a narrowband FM thing, and that is a point where gate asks question. Okay, that is the the area where gate asks question. So please write it down. Don't be idle. Assume that the message signal. Assume that the message signal and carrier. Assume that the message signal and carrier are applied to a narrowband FM modulator. Okay? The output signal will be a narrowband FM. So the output signal is this. Which is what, guys? AC cos 2 pi FCT, okay? In the bracket, you will write beta sine 2 pi FMT. You remember that? Our very first equation. So see, it's right. You will get different components also, right? But if you are going to take 4 FC, you can use a band pass filter at exactly mentioned by. So it depends on what you want. And same thing we do in amplitude modulation generation as well. That we are using demodulation. Sorry, we are using a nonlinear system to do that. And if you recall, I taught you square law modulator and square law demodulator in AM signal. That is again using a nonlinear device. The output signal is AC cos 2 pi FCT beta sine 2 pi FMT. So suppose this is my, what is this signal, guys? This is narrow band FM signal. Okay. If I give this signal to the frequency multiplier of order n, what would be the output? Anyone can write? So I am saying, if narrowband FM signal is passed through a frequency multiplier of order n, then output would be what? Okay. So I got one answer. Cos n times the argument. Very good. That's correct. Very correct. So my output would be a wide band FM and it will be n times the frequency, the complete angle. So it will be AC cos n times 2 pi FCT plus n times beta sine 2 pi FMT. So now see, that's how things are going, right? So you can clearly feel that how your frequencies is increasing. Now if you look at that, your frequency has gone from FC to n times FC, but at the same time beta has also increased. So there is a very good point to discuss. You cannot go to n as like 100 or 200 times. No, that is not recommendable, because if you recall from the last session, I only told that I myself told you guys that beta practically is 5 or 6. So if you want beta to be 5 or 6, so you can understand the overall should be 5 or 6. So generally, if you ask me practically we use of what order, it is generally 2 or 3 order. We don't go beyond 2 or 3. It's generally 2 or order 3. Okay, keep in mind. If somebody asks you, you have an answer to give. Okay? So write that point as well. In frequency multiplier, carrier frequency FC and beta both increase by a factor of n. Both increase by a factor of n, but FM, masses frequency FM, remains the same. So that is our, you can say, observation from the above equation, OBS. Okay? GATE actually asked a question on this, which I will take it as a drill question. So please do it, guys. GATE 2005. It's not in the module, but I am taking on the board. It's a drill question. So question is, FM signal having a frequency deviation of having a frequency deviation of 90 kilohertz is passed through a square law device the masses frequency is 5 kilohertz. The masses frequency is 5 kilohertz. Question is, determine the modulation index and bandwidth at the output. This question has been little bit tweaked. Very good question. What happens when beta is more than 5? So see, masses frequency you have how much? Like 10 kilohertz or 20 kilohertz, right? Generally this is the basic masses signal or FM. But when you take audio signal, it can be also around somewhere 300 hertz. So the idea is to maintain, so 1000 hertz, 1000 kilohertz is your, 1000 kilohertz is your 1 megahertz. So idea is to go on a lower side, and that's why we don't practically take beta more than 5 or 6, because if modulation rate is more, so your overall frequency modulation will go out of the range. The range is 88 to 108 megahertz. Okay. But again, that is a practical number. Okay. That is a practical number. You can ignore that number, not a point. If they are asking a question of beta at saying 10, so don't say it is not practically feasible, will not solve the question. Whatever beta they are telling, you just use it and do it. So solution, guys. It is given that delta F frequency deviation is 90 kilohertz. Okay. Is passed through a square law device. Square law means n equal to 2. No confusion about that. The message frequency is 5 kilohertz. Okay. Determine the modulation index and bandwidth, right? So tell me, if I just look at here, so what is the bandwidth as of now? So bandwidth is, what is the bandwidth, guys, here? Anyone? Or let's not ask bandwidth, let's ask what is the beta here? So beta you can find as, delta F by Fm. So it is 90 by 5 equal to 18. Beta is 18. Right? When we say beta is 18, so even the input is, wideband FM. Because beta is greater than 1 means what? Wideband FM. Now this FM goes into a square law device. So what will be the output? So you know that I told in this statement here that FC and beta both increase by a factor of n, but FM remains the same. So new beta, beta dash will be n beta. So it will be how many times? 2 into 18. That's why a lot of you got 36. And now you can use this to tell me the bandwidth. So the bandwidth will be twice beta plus 1 into FM. Right? And FM is how much? 5 kilohertz. So new bandwidth would be twice beta plus 1 FM. So if somebody can just solve this, you will get 370 kilohertz. Sorry to go so down because I didn't have much space there. It is 2 into beta is 36 plus 1 37. 37, 2 into 5 is 10. So 37 into 10 is 370 kilohertz. Clear? Easy question. So guys, one important thing I'm going to write, and this will be in the flow of block diagram, so you will really enjoy this. So let me take under the heading Armstrong indirect FM examples. So you'll definitely see that what is the whole building block of flow. It starts from where and it goes where. So you have a empty signal, massive signal M of t. It goes into a block which is narrow band FM generation. Okay, narrow band FM generation. Then it goes into a multiplier which is into 64. Okay, narrow band output is going into 64 multiplier, and then it goes into a, a mixer. So this is a mixer and it has some carrier signal generated out of local oscillator. and generally it is known as local crystal oscillator. That's the name. Then it goes into a band pass filter, and then again it goes into a multiplier into 48. Then it goes into a power amplifier, power amplifier, and then you get the output as wideband FM. Okay. Now everybody should draw this. I'm going to ask a series of questions, and those guys who are really engaged and active on this session, please tell me your answers. Okay. So what I have done here, that I have taken the narrowband output generation is giving you carrier frequency 200 kilohertz and delta F equal to delta F1 equal to 25 kilohertz. So the deviation is from 175 to 225, plus and minus, right? Now everybody will tell me what is the output here. Okay, what is the output here and what is the output at the last? Come on. Now this is not some lab example, it's a real FM broadcast station ka circuit. Okay, so I can write that FM broadcast station. See guys, so I'm taking a different example from different places to make you learn better. So please contribute and let me know your answers. So guys, what you have to tell me? You have to tell me that what will be the FC2 here new, what will delta F2 similarly like that. So what is FC2? 12.8 megahertz or kilohertz? I guess it is kilohertz or megahertz. What will happen to delta F2? It is 1.6 megahertz. Now, question to all the students in the session, why that delta F has also changed? Anyone? Very good, because of beta. So, very good. Because it is, you are multiplying by n to the whole angle of the cos. So, it has that delta F is also coming from that point only. Very good. Now, what will be the output here? This is tricky. At this place, before it gets into, so when I multiply a local oscillator, what will happen here? So guys, I think you guys might not be knowing this, right? A mixer does not change delta F because frequency deviation is still intact, but FC3 will become something else. It could be anything, but delta F, it will be remaining same. So if it is 1.6, it will be 1.6. And again, you do the same exercise and you get, FC4. So guys, somewhere we have to decide that what is the local oscillator frequency. So let's say it is giving you 1.9 megahertz, the mixer, and then again you multiply and you get FC4. So guys, we have assumed, this is assumption, because I have not specified any frequency of the mixer for now. Now FC4 will become what? FC4, if you do the calculation into this 48, so 91.2 megahertz, and delta F, it was 2, it is 3, delta F4 is equal to, it will come 76.8 kilohertz. So it has again changed, see, 1.62, it has become 76.8 megahertz. Very good. So I can see some of you are giving the answer 61.4. Guys, yeah, I understand there are some points that we have not clarified, but just imagine that band pass filter cutoff frequency in such a manner that it takes the whole FC3, the whole range. So that is the assumption we have to do. It's a practical example, not a question or something. Clear?